Today on NewsWatch, Democrats targeting President Trump's nominees, see how Republicans are shutting them down, and why Vice President Pence had to head to the Senate. Plus, the battle over Trump's immigration order. Will the courts uphold the president's plan to protect America? And an insider's view, a former faith advisor to President Obama opens up about the ex-president's evolution on the issues that rock the church. And thanks for joining us for CBN's Newswatch. I'm Heather Sells. President Donald Trump is facing more tough battles over his cabinet nominees. It was down to the wire for his education secretary pick Tuesday, and a dramatic scene took place in the Senate over the president's nominee for Attorney General. Democrats have turned against Attorney General nominee Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama. Mark Martin has the story.
The debate over Sessions ramped up when Republicans invoked an obscure Senate rule to formally silence Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. They accused her of questioning the character of Sessions when she read an opposition letter from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s widow, Coretta Scott King, written during the time of Sessions' failed judicial nomination 3 decades ago.
This is a reminder, not pertinent necessarily what you just shared. However, you stated that a sitting senator is a disgrace to the Department of Justice.
Mr. President, the senators impugn the motives and conduct of our colleague from Alabama as warned by the chair. Senator Warren, quote, said Senator Sessions has used the awesome power of his office to chill the free exercise of the vote by black citizens.
Mr. President, I am surprised that the words of Coretta Scott King are not suitable for debate in the United States Senate. I ask leave of the Senate to continue my remarks.
Warren later finished her speech on Facebook. The fight over Sessions comes as President Trump's nominee for Education Secretary, Betsy DeVos, was confirmed after a long, contentious confirmation battle. But it took Vice President Mike Pence to break a 50-50 tie in the Senate.
Never before has a vice president been called upon to cast a tie-breaking vote for a cabinet nominee. When I cast my first vote in the United States Senate, though, I wasn't just voting for you. Having seen your devotion to improving the quality of education for some of our most vulnerable children across the nation for so many years, I was also casting a vote for America's children. And I can tell you, my vote for Betsy DeVos was the easiest vote I ever cast.
Opponents who criticize DeVos for her lack of experience in public education have promised to keep up their opposition to her even after she takes office. And opponents say there was an outpouring of comments against her. Republicans and conservatives blasted Democrats for simply carrying out the agenda of teachers' unions. DeVos supports school choice and charter schools. DeVos did not make any comments at her swearing-in ceremony. As for Sessions, despite Democratic opposition, the Senate is expected to vote on his nomination tonight, and then on Congressman Tom Price for Secretary of Health and Human Services and Steven Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary later in the week.
It's really time for our friends on the other side to get over the election. Let this administration get up and get running. We'll get through all of these nominations. It's taking longer than it should, but we'll get through all of them sooner rather than later.
Mark Martin, CBN News.
Former 2016 presidential contenders Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders took on the issue of health care last evening in a debate on CNN. With Cruz arguing for private health insurance, Sanders stood on the side of Obamacare.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is every American entitled, and I underlined that word, to health care as a right?
So what is a right? Is access to health care. What is a right is choosing your own doctor.
President Trump told CNN that Obamacare will be repealed by the end of 2017 or early 2018. Well, a federal appeals court is deciding whether or not to uphold President Trump's executive order on immigration. Opponents say it is a Muslim ban, but one of the judges in the case says the vast majority of Muslims in the world would not be affected. And as White House correspondent Jennifer Wishon reports, the fight is far from over.
Americans seem to either love or hate President Donald Trump's executive action that keeps people from 7 Muslim-majority nations known to harbor terrorists from visiting the U.S. And the controversy continues. Judges addressed whether or not the block on the president's executive order should be lifted. A hearing on the legality of the executive order is still to come, and the Trump administration feels confident the law is on their side.
It says, quote, whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or of any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may by proclamation, and for such period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions which he may deem appropriate.
Despite their confidence, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly told a House committee that in hindsight, he should have delayed implementing the order to brief Congress on the details. Ranking member Democrat Benny Thompson asked Kelly if any terrorist had made their way into the country during the time the court halted the ban.
You don't have any proof at this point?
Not until the boom.
Not until what?
Not until they act and blow something up or go into a mall and kill people. So we won't know until then.
Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Oh, oh.
Pockets of protest continue, this one in Houston.
We're going to let the world know that this country welcomes Muslims. We're not going to stand for a ban.
President Trump told a group of visiting sheriffs a ban on immigrants from certain countries is just common sense.
If you remember, ISIS said we are going to infiltrate the United States and other countries through the migration. And then we're not allowed to be tough on the people coming in?
If the executive order ends up at the Supreme Court, it's not a guarantee the court would deadlock. Justice Anthony Kennedy, the swing vote, could uphold the president's order. Depending on the timing, Judge Neil Gorsuch could also find himself weighing in on any decision. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, the White House.
Eastern New Orleans is a disaster zone after 7 tornadoes blasted through several parishes. The storms flipped cars, tore roofs from homes, and destroyed businesses. At least 40 people were injured. The worst damage was in New Orleans' 9th Ward. That area was heavily damaged by Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
You're in a wide open area right here, so, the winds, have really nothing to stop them, but in town, you have a lot of older houses and they have tin roofs, and you would have had plenty of projectiles flying through town, which could have been really, really bad.
Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards has said there is extensive damage, but, quote, the Lord has blessed us with not a single fatality at this time. Israel passed a historic law that legalizes Jewish communities in biblical Judea and Samaria. While some argue that the new law steals land from Palestinians, many Israelis are celebrating the return of their ancient homeland. Before the vote, Cabinet Minister Ofer Akunis said the law is really about the Jewish people's right to their own land. He said, quote, we are voting tonight on the connection between the Jewish people and its land. This whole land is ours, all of it. Several Israeli groups have already challenged the law, asking the Israeli Supreme Court to overturn it. In Nigeria, growing concern about potential food shortages and famine caused by the militant Islamic group Boko Haram. A new UN report predicts that more than 8 million Nigerians will face a food crisis this year, and 120,000 will likely suffer from catastrophic famine-like conditions. Worst affected is Borno State, the birthplace of Boko Haram. UN agencies say more than 500,000 children there face death if they don't get help. Corruption is compounding the crisis. Officials are investigating reports that local Nigerian government agencies are stealing international food aid. And coming up, prayers for the president. We'll tell you about one prayer warrior's vision to unite the world in prayer for Donald Trump. Lady Gaga's performance at Super Bowl 51 is getting a lot of attention, but what you may have missed is her powerful message to her team just moments before taking the stage Sunday.
What did you tell everybody before you headed out on the field?
I told them that their talent did not belong to them, that God is the owner of their talent, and that today was about sharing his wisdom with the world.
For the latest in uplifting entertainment news, make sure you check out Studio 5. You can watch the show at cbn.com/Studio 5. Could a book of prayers by random people from all over the world shape a presidency? As Paul Strand reports from Washington, that is the vision of one graduate of Regent University.
Veronica Karaman is a golf pro and peak performance coach, but also dedicated prayer warrior. She felt God himself calling her to pray for presidential candidate Donald Trump.
Trump went down the escalator and announced his presidency, and God said to me, pray for Trump. I'm not a political person, but I said, yes, sir.
The Regent University grad wrote out those prayers, ending up with about 120 pages, which she delivered to Trump. Then she heard God saying to step it up a notch.
I heard this download, prayers for the president. And I thought, wouldn't it be a wonderful expression and gift to have a compilation of prayers from people all over that had the heart of the Father, that was praying for him.
She connected with a global audience through a webinar.
And prayers just started coming in from all over the world.
The result is Prayers for the President, the first 100 days and beyond, which people can track down at prayersforthepresident.org. Karaman says readers report weeping as the words touch their heart.
When God calls you to pray, he puts his heart in your heart. You can't read this book and not cry, and to see the love of God for this person from people all over the world.
Veronica's betting most people don't realize just how world-altering their united prayers can be.
People don't understand the power of prayer. You know, as we pray and come together as a people, then God will hear our prayers. You know, so we have more power than we think.
She shared a couple of her favorite written prayers from the book.
As he has allowed you to become a king, I bless you to allow him to rule and reign in your heart, so that the King of Heaven will be able to rule through you on earth. We cut off from President Trump all the liabilities of those who went before him and the snares of the office and its deep roots fed from places other than the river of God. I pray that you will form in him the character of a president made in the image of your Son, Jesus Christ.
Veronica's hope and prayer is this book could get into enough hands that 10,000 people could be praying the same prayer on the same day for President Trump. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Up next, he served as President Obama's director of faith outreach, and he wasn't afraid to call out the president when faith took a backseat to politics. Michael Ware was one of President Obama's advisors on issues of faith, and now he's telling the story of what it was like to reach out to believers as Obama was working to radically change the culture of America. CBN News sat down with Ware to talk about his new book.
Michael Ware was only 19 when he served as an intern for Senator and presidential candidate Barack Obama in 2008.
Greatest honor of my life. I mean, it was to be there, to be in the thick of things.
Later, he would work in Obama's Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, and in 2012, he handled faith outreach for the president's re-election campaign. It led to a wild ride for a Christian like Ware, especially working for a president whose moral and religious views evolved dramatically throughout his time in the White House. Ware talks about the lessons he learned in his new book, Reclaiming Hope.
The contraception mandate, what was that discussion, debate, conversation like in your office?
It was like this looming thing.
After Obamacare became law, the White House faced the decision of whether to allow Christian employers an exemption when it came to providing insurance coverage of contraception and abortion-inducing drugs.
It was extremely tense. It was years of my life, years of advocates' lives that were trying to be earnest, good faith, advocates within the White House. And the administration made the wrong decision right out of the gate. And you can tell that they made the wrong decision because they've revised it over a dozen times since they made it. And to me, it became clear that a more aggressive approach was taken than necessary, and that part of the reason for that was to stoke political conflict.
In other words, it all came down to politics. Ware says Obama operatives knew stoking this controversy that GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney would certainly oppose would allow them to fabricate a Republican war on women, a war that took hold in the 2012 campaign. After the botched religious exemption, things were never the same between the president and religious leaders. You know, a lot of evangelicals voted for the president in 2008 thinking he supported traditional marriage and civil unions.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, for me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God's in the mix.
He told Rick Warren God was in the mix, and then when he announced his evolution, he brought up the golden rule, which, golden rule's been around for a long time. And so I don't know what changed in the application of the golden rule from when he had one position in 2008 to when he quote unquote evolved in 2012.
Later, Obama senior advisor David Axelrod revealed it was all a campaign concoction. President Obama always supported gay marriage, but knew his position would lessen his chances of winning in 2008. President Obama has had his personal faith challenged more than any other president in history. Was that a constant thorn in your side?
Yeah, I hope people understand when they're sending around these chain emails that, there were Muslim prayers on the South Lawn, like someone actually has to deal with that, and you're looking at them. Believe me, I was there. I would have been the first to question if there were Muslim prayers being held on the South Lawn.
Where regrets Christians didn't do more to encourage Obama in his faith.
My sort of problem was it seemed a standard was being applied to him that folks don't apply to people in their own congregation. If you don't agree with someone in your congregation on a political issue, or if you don't think that they're doing things exactly right, you don't kick them out of church. You try and edify them and try and build them up in their faith.
So how does America reclaim hope?
You can have all kinds of things to hope for, but I want to encourage people to think about where their hope is placed. When everything else falls short, what can they count on? And for me, that's been Jesus. When your hope is in solid ground, then all kinds of possibilities and opportunities open up. You're able to look for where God is operating in the world, even in politics. Politics is not the one area of life that can't be affected by the kingdom of God. Just imagine if we had a country full of people who were grounded in the hope of Christ, and that hope propelled them to love their neighbor well.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
At the start of each year, CBN Indonesia hosts Dedication Day. It's a time of celebration when leaders from our centers in Southeast Asia and Korea pray and seek God's direction. CBN News Asia correspondent Lucille Tolusan attended this year's gathering and brings us this story.
At the start of each year, CBN leaders from Myanmar, Vietnam, Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Indonesia come together on Dedication Day to celebrate God's faithfulness. They seek His direction for the ministry and rededicate their lives as they continue to serve.
I'm here at the CBN Center in Indonesia, and it's amazing how from these beautiful facilities, God's work is being extended to more countries in the region.
CBN Indonesia started in 1998, but it was only in 2012 when they stepped out in faith to open a CBN Center outside Indonesia. First was in Myanmar, when it began to democratize in the same year.
And yet now, the ministry of CBN in Myanmar is fantastic. And we're primed to play a major role in something exciting that God's going to do in this new era of openness and democracy in Myanmar going forward.
CBN Indonesia worker in Myanmar, Sandy Baratas, says the ministry is mostly focused on keeping families together by empowering widows and teaching biblical values to children.
We receive a great story that the children's life changed because of the super book. Tanwinwa is about 10 years old. Before, she always get angry with her friend because her friend always bully her. But after she watched the super book, she really forgiveness and even bring them to the Sunday school.
CBN coming in is a God's given gift where we have to make use of it
that our people be blessed, that they may know Jesus and His love and be saved and have eternal life.
In Korea, Superbook is a valuable gift, especially to the churches that can't afford a Sunday school curriculum.
We have about 70,000 churches in Korea, big and small, and it's surprising to know that 48% of those churches don't have Sunday school. So Superbook is good news in Korea because it'll help churches who can't afford to have Sunday school or a Sunday school curriculum to use it without a price.
In addition to its humanitarian and radio outreach, CBN Vietnam is preparing 350 churches for the launch of Superbook in the Vietnamese language. Vietnam country manager Phuoc Trung says each year he is strengthened and encouraged by Dedication Day.
It's just awesome that we are united to worship God, united to have fun, united to build and to dream of the future for each country.
The idea is that God loves all people, and I think God is going to anoint CBN wherever they are to reach the world.
We are united!
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Jakarta.
And that's it for now on CBN News Watch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues that you care about most at cbnnews.com. We hope that you'll join us next time. Have a great day.